So the wise men in Matthew chapter 3, they go to the king at that time, trying to find where the new king would be born. And the story continues. After this interview, verse 9 of Matthew 3, after this interview, the wise men went on their way, and the star that they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. And then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. I hope you go back and reread all of this and more as the accounts of Christmas in the scriptures over this season. But you've probably heard this story. And it's one of the scariest and worst parts of this story. What happens is that the wise men return by that other route. They don't tell Herod. And so Herod, just in his desperation to kill off this newborn king, actually has all the kids 2 years old and younger, all the boys 2 years old and younger, massacred. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine Joseph and Mary racing out of there, carrying all this loot that they'd been given by the wise men just in time so that they could get out there and have enough money for their journey and be able to live in Egypt where they fled to. It was a really cool story of God's provision there, but still how scary, how freaky, how so many questions, so many fears, so many doubts. I just can't imagine. And even worse for just all the innocent families that lost kids in this terrible season. And this is one of the reminders that I see in Scripture that there just aren't answers for all the pain that we go through. There just aren't. There's nowhere that it explains this, nowhere that justifies this. There's nowhere that says, but that was okay because God knew this, or that was okay. We still see God protecting Jesus. We still see good coming out of all of it. We still see this isn't the end of the whole story. But that's just painful. This whole thing is just painful. Herod is just evil. The wise men are good. Joseph and Mary are good. Probably all those people were at least pretty good, those people whose kids got killed. But that was just straight up evil. And if you're experiencing just straight up evil in your life right now, I'd like to encourage you. I know that sounds weird, but you're not alone. Sometimes that happens. I encourage you to remember that there's still goodness out there. Sometimes at the same time as the pain. Look for that. Look for that this Christmas season. God bless you and Merry Christmas.